Domestic violence has always been around, and it's been a problem in the deaf community. It's behind closed doors between two people. But the deaf community really isn't involved. Now we know that we can't just remain silent on this issue. It's everyone's business. And we need to become more comfortable discussing domestic violence. It's a community problem. This requires a community solution. For the last 50 years, the Women's Deaf Service Center, AWDS, has been working with deaf people before they had another name. But violence can happen to anyone. Typically, it's generally women that experience this, but other people can. It doesn't matter your sexual orientation, background, class, gender, religion, or any other kind of label. Domestic violence can happen to anyone. Domestic violence is not just physical. It can also be emotional abuse, financial, spiritual abuse. There's many different kinds. It involves someone that's very controlling in these areas. If someone you love has experienced domestic abuse or sexual abuse, it's important to listen to them. Believe what they have to say. Let them know that it's not their fault. Respect them and don't offer judgment. You have to remember that domestic violence can be experienced, and it's better to try and offer solutions and encourage them than to bring them down. There are supports available for domestic abuse and sexual abuse. Perhaps you yourself have experienced domestic abuse. You need to tell someone. You need to keep letting people know until they believe you. And I want you to remember that it's not your fault. You're not alone, and there is help available to you in your area for domestic violence or sexual abuse agencies. Remember, there is a hotline for domestic abuse hotline, and there are programs available near you to help the deaf also. What can our community do to combat domestic violence? Well, we can have discussion about it. There's power in opening up and discussing these issues. It doesn't have to be a secret that people keep anymore. Also, we need to remember that it's not victims' fault for domestic violence. We need to not judge them by asking them, why did you stay and not leave? Why did you keep going back? No, we need to change our language by asking, why did that person do that to you? And we need to figure out how we can help to stop the cycle of domestic violence. Another thing we can do is educate ourselves and others on what we need to understand the problems of domestic violence and sexual abuse before we try to go ahead and make a plan and work with someone and find a solution. A good idea could be taking workshops. Sometimes there's different dramas in the community that people can give examples. We need to focus on the system itself because there's many blocks for deaf individuals that suffer from this type of abuse, and we need to make the system better. We need to try to get rid of the blocks and keep pursuing changes so that we can combat this problem. Hearing systems itself need to build a bridge with the deaf communities and to help them understanding their unique needs. There are program services available. There are services that understand deaf culture and the deaf and ASL experience. There's people available to choose from that can help you. There's different kinds of programs. There's mainstreamed with hearing programs and deaf-only programs. Our staff wants to know how we can help you. We want to explain to you how you can feel more powerful and change your situation. We want you to feel empowered. And we want the community to be able to stop domestic violence. All kinds of abuse we want to stop. Sexual, physical, emotional. We have resources that can help you. The goal is for you to have strength and come out of the situation that you're in. This is just an important topic. We have to work together to stop the cycle of domestic violence. It's not going to be easy or simple. It's not going to change overnight, but we have to press onward and continue to try to do what we can. We need to have patience and get community involvement to support those that experience domestic violence. Our community needs to take a stand and start in strength together to end domestic violence.